All right, everyone, we are going to go ahead and get started today. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Traveling Gamecocks event with our travel partner, Go Next. My name is Haven Quinlan, and I work at the USC Alumni Association, and it's a great pleasure that I get to work with our Gamecock travelers and our partners. So I will get us started in just a moment, but before we get started, just a few little housekeeping items. If you guys are interested in asking any questions today, we welcome that. We want to get your questions on anything about these trips or any details of the itineraries. So you won't be able to unmute yourself in this webinar format. However, we want you to ask questions. So there's a chat and a Q&A. If you're not super familiar with Zoom, across the bottom of your screen, there should be a toolbar where you can click either the chat or the Q&A. Feel free to type in any questions you have throughout the presentation in that, and then we'll make sure we leave some time at the end after we chat about our upcoming trips. So with that, I will pass things over to Andrew. Andrew is our partner at Go Next, and he will be talking about the trips we have coming up with them.
Right. Thank you so much, Haven. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you showing up and taking your time. It's our honor over here at Go Next to present USC's 2024 featured programs. My name is Andrew Spiro, and of course, I live over here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Been with Go Next for about a year or so. For the last 25 years, I've been traveling for work. And in my off time, I wind up traveling with my wife everywhere. So it's a huge, huge part of my life. And since you are all here joining us today, I know it's a huge part of your life as well. So once again, thank you for joining us today. We can talk a little bit about Go Next just to get us familiar with the company here. We've been doing this for over 50 years. We are a family-owned company, like I mentioned, right here in Minneapolis in the Twin Cities. We specialize on upper premium cruising. And I wanted to put the slide up here just to show you a couple of fun highlights here, what sort of sets us apart from everybody else. Number one, we love personalizing your experience and trying to fit the unique needs of everybody that joins us on one of these trips. We like to give you the best possible travel support as well, in the form of after-hours assistance during your pre-travel to a destination. And we also like to provide a program manager on every one of these trips to make sure that they take care of any one of your needs or any of your guests have questions. We are competitively priced in the market. We negotiate our contracts out many years in advance to make sure you get the best price and you can't find it better someplace else. And as I mentioned, the premium products that we work with, of course, upper premium cruising products. We will discuss those in a little further detail down the road here. But if you guys are excited, let us get started here. And I'll just show you a couple of quick universal amenities and benefits here, working with all of our suppliers across the board. They always include free air and transfers, of course, some free shore excursions, port taxes and fees will be included in that price as well, free Wi-Fi, and complimentary beer and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. So let us tackle our first destination for 2024. This is called the Land of the Rising Sun. This is aboard Oceania Cruises Riviera. This is a 12-night cruise. It's going to be going April 1st through the 13th, right here in 2024. So the reason I'm excited about this trip here, Japan is one of those last countries to open up after COVID. There's a lot of pent-up demand around this country. It has a rich history, unique food, unique culture. There's basically no place else in the world like it. And of course, I mentioned you're going to be aboard Oceania's Riviera. Just a couple of quick distinctions here, just some fun highlights I'll throw out there. You know, these ships do include a spa called the Aquamar Spa. There's going to be a heated pool on board, 3 whirlpools and a fitness center. We're going to have a culinary center in case you want to learn how to cook and make some beautiful dishes, and also an artist loft as well. That's just a few of the things that amenities that are on board the ship here. But it's a very small, intimate ship, about 1,200 plus passengers, and we're going to dive deeper into Oceania down the road here a little bit. But let's get to our first port of destination in Japan. Of course, Tokyo is where you're going to be flying into on March 31st, and you're going to embark from the port of Yokohama. We recommend spending an extra few days here in Tokyo. There's so much to see and so much to do. It's a wonderful city. I've been myself. It's pretty mind-blowing. Now, your first port after, of course, landing in Tokyo is Nagoya, Japan. Here you can do things like visit the Sutra Shrine that's been founded in the 3rd century. It contains a very sacred sword. Or you can check out the Tokuyama Family Art Museum here in Nagoya. But juxtaposed to some of these historic sites you can visit, they also have the Toyota Technology Museum of Innovation. And here you can learn about textiles, metalworks, legacy automobiles, the future of technology, and robotics as well. And then, of course, we are on to the next stop, which is Kochi, Japan. This is the Kochi Castle here we're looking at. Sometimes it's called the Hawk Castle for its curved roof line. It's one of the few castles in Japan that has a spiked wall that's sort of embedded there to deter ninja assassins. I thought that was an interesting little fact. But there are some beautiful geographical formations nearby called the Regato Caves. There you can find over 100 species of animals living inside, bats, crabs, shrimps, etc. But Kochi is also known for some of the most beautiful beaches. And if snorkeling is your forte, this is a wonderful place to do some great snorkeling. Next up is Kagoshima, Japan. Now, this sort of emphasizes the wonders of the active volcano here, Mount Sakukurashima. This is home to 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. One, of course, is Japan's earliest machine factories, and the other is a 17th century botanical garden. They also have a national park there that has bubbling hot springs. Of course, the volcanic landscapes that you might imagine that comes with the volcano here, and of course, cascading waterfalls. A very beautiful city to explore. Next up, of course, is the infamous, as we know, Nagasaki, Japan. Has quite the history here. It has multiple museums. Obviously, the 1945 atomic blast happened in this area here. But you can also sort of explore the Edo period in Japan, which is their isolationist period. You can also discover some of its beautiful porcelain. This is known as the birthplace of Japanese porcelain as well. Then it takes you over to Busan, South Korea. Here you can see some ancient Buddhist temples that date from the 7th and 8th centuries. They were actually surrounded by wisteria woods, which is pretty beautiful. You could take a glimpse into some of the most bustling markets here in South Korea. If you'd like some kitchenware or clothing, you go to the Bukaje market. If you were looking for fresh seafood to see the hustle and bustle of the fish markets, you would go over to Jahalchi as well. So Busan is a wonderful city to explore. It has both ancient and modern iconic architecture within it. But just a quick stop in South Korea, you come on back, of course, to Hiroshima, Japan. Of course, that was the first city destroyed by the atomic bomb. And what we see here is actually the atomic bomb dome, the only structure that was left standing in the epicenter of the blast, but it's now a World Heritage Site. So there's plenty of historical sites to see here, but if this is not your speed, we totally understand. You can take a quick ferry over to Miyajima, which is a small forest island known for its stunning and natural beauty, and also is a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well. Our next city we stop in is Beppu, Japan. Beppu has many, many hot springs known as Jiokokus or hells. This is a village that has been producing natural bath products for centuries. With so many thermal springs in and around Beppu, you're going to see thick clouds of steam from the edges of the city. And here, the picture that we're looking at here is Yufunin, which is an Edo-style village. And here you could relax in the mineral-rich hot springs of Beppu. Beppu is also known as the geothermal energy capital of Japan as well. But if you're into self-care and skincare and just relaxing, Beppu is pretty fantastic. Now, our next stop is on to the famous Kyoto, Japan. Here we are looking at the Higashiyama district, and pictured in the background here is going to be the Asaka Pagoda, which was built in 1400. Basically, you're going to find traditional Japanese atmosphere here. This is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You'll find places like the Nijo Castle or the Golden Pavilion. That's a Zen Buddhist temple that's covered in gold leaf. Or you can visit the famous alleys of the Gisha district here, as we can kind of see also in this picture. The nice part is, if you're into food, you can feast on kaiseki, and that's intricate seasonal small dishes in Kyoto. And this city here is known for having some of the best cuisine in Japan. And you're going to spend 2 full days there to really soak it in. And then you are off to Shimazu, Japan. Here you can visit the Tekiodo Hiroshi Art Museum. It holds more than 1,000 woodblock prints from the master Yutagawa Hiroshi. You can partake in a green tea ceremony as well. And or you can take a nice seaside drive to Mihino no Matsubara. And this is a grove that consists of about 50,000 pine trees, and it has a stunning view of Mount Fuji, which is considered one of the best vistas in Japan, as we could see here. And then, of course, we come right back to Tokyo for a very convenient trip back home. Again, if you can spend a few days here on the end of your trip, we recommend it. It's a wonderful city. I've been there, and it was something else, that's for sure. Okay, now we're on to our second trip here. This is called Danube Delights with Prague. So this is going to be aboard our supplier named Emerald Cruises, aboard the Emerald Destiny. It's a 10-night cruise. It starts in Prague and makes its way down to Budapest. Basically, when you arrive in Prague, you'll be met at the airport and transferred to a centrally located hotel in Prague, and get to spend at least 2 days exploring that city. Just a quick snippet on Emerald. Again, we can dive a little deeper into it a little bit later, but this is sort of what we're looking at here. One of their starships. It is of contemporary design. It's one of the most modern fleets on the European rivers right now. They have comfortable staterooms, including luxurious onboard amenities, of course. It's a wonderful way to travel around Europe, for sure. But let's get back to the trip. As we mentioned, our first stop is Prague in the Czech Republic. You're going to have a guided tour on day 2 that you're in Prague. You can visit the historic St. Vitus Cathedral. You can have a lovely stroll over the St. Charles Bridge. And then you can finish your tour in Old Town of Prague in front of the famous astronomical clock in the downtown square there. On day 3, that will be at your leisure. You can wander the different quarters. You can discover some historic areas like the Mala Strana, the Jewish Quarter, or you can just relax and take in maybe some coffee and cake over at the Lobkowitz Palace. On the next day here, for our first stop, we're going to be in Regensburg, Germany. And so Regensburg, Germany is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, full of cobblestone streets. Here you can sample, Bavarian music, Bavarian food. There are bikes on each and every one of these starships, so you can take a nice, beautiful bike tour in and around the city. But if you get lost in the old town, it's pretty fantastic. It's sort of like traveling back in time. Next stop on this river trip Passau, Germany, or Engelherzel, Austria. This is where three different rivers sort of converge in one spot. Here at this city, you're going to learn how the fires in the 17th century destroyed the city, and then it was built back up in the image of Italian architects in that Baroque architecture style. It's a breathtaking city on the river, just a wonderful place to enjoy the sights and the sounds. Then we're up to Dürnstein, Austria. Again, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Valley that you're going to be traveling through here, the Wacho Valley. And if you're feeling a little active, you could hike up to the Dürnstein Castle. You can bike through some ancient ruins. You can visit some vineyards for some wine tasting. Or in the afternoon, you can go for a guided tour of the Gottlieb Abbey that was built in 1083. So plenty to do here and absolutely gorgeous. On to, of course, the famous Vienna, Austria. Vienna, of course, encapsulates, the opulence of the Habsburg monarchy. They have ornate Baroque architectures and palaces to explore. For lovers of arts, there's plenty of museums to take a look at. One of the most largest and important in the country. I'm going to give this a try. Kunsthistorisches Museum. And again, for the classical musical lovers, this is sort of the home of Mozart, so you can soak in that culture as well. Then we are off to Bratislava, Slovakia. Bratislava, a very underrated city. It has an enchanting history, of course. It has a communist past to explore, a neo-Renaissance to explore as well. They have a national theater, palace, and of course the Bratislava Castle. One of the fun, exciting trips outside the ship is you could actually enjoy coffee and cake in the home of an authentic Slovakian family that opens up their home to you to enjoy an afternoon with. So very, very authentic experience to sort of dive into the culture here. And then we finish, of course, in the very vibrant Budapest, Hungary. This has a unique blend of cultures, of course, cuisine and a vibrant lifestyle. This is sort of an East meets West sort of city. You'll see also in the contrasting styles of the building, some of the ancient also blends with the contemporary architecture as well. And also known as a self-care and a skincare capital of the world also. So if you're into self-care, plenty of baths, hot springs, skincare products to explore here in Budapest, Hungary. And again, I just wanted to pop this in here just to give you a little taste of Emerald Cruises. This is, again, the contemporary design of a cabin room here. It's a nice little fun example. This is also their beautiful lounge in the bottom right-hand corner, just to get an idea of what it feels like. It's a very intimate ship. It's about 100+ passengers here. So there's no way you're getting lost, and it's very, very easy to get around as well. Some of the fun details around Emerald, of course, as we mentioned before, airfare and transfers are included. The gratuities, the Wi-Fi, there are bicycles on board to take at each and every port. You can take them out for a little self-guided tour or perhaps a travel guided tour. Excursions at almost every port. Immersive dining experience, they are inspired by the local regent, so that's what they would be serving you. Complimentary beer, wine, and soft drinks, of course, through lunch and dinner, for taxes, fees, all that great stuff is covered also. And they have a very innovative little indoor pool as well that has a retractable roof. And that roof kind of like goes over the pool and it turns into a cinema at night. So pretty modern, pretty inventive, pretty spectacular. And just so we can all get a little idea of what it's like to travel aboard Emerald, I popped in this little video here for everybody. taste here. So wonderful way to travel throughout Europe. Emerald Cruises, as I mentioned, one of the most modern fleets on the rivers right now. Okay, on to our next trip. We are looking at courtyards and colonnades. This is back aboard Oceana's Cruises. This is aboard the ship, the Riviera. September 11th through the 21st for a beautiful fall trip. This is going to be a 10-nighter as well. And the Riviera is basically the sister ship to the Marina, which is on that Japanese trip. It's going to be all the same layout, all the same amenities, all the same wonderful specialty restaurants, which we will dive into again just a little bit further down the road here. Couple of fun highlights. They have barista crafted coffees, which puts Starbucks to shame, in my opinion. They offer an afternoon tea service as well with finger sandwiches, desserts. That is each and every day. Fitness classes for those looking to keep in shape. Saltwater pool is at your disposal. And of course, they have that beautiful Aquamar spa as well. Okay. So on this trip, our first spot, of course, we're going to be embarking from Barcelona, Spain, home of countless artists and masters, Dali, Picasso, Gaudi, you name it. Once again, we recommend you spend a few extra days here to absorb the culture of Barcelona. It is a fascinating city. But our first ports that we're going to hit is going to be Saint-Tropez, France. You can visit the wonderful village of Gassan here, which has spectacular views of the countryside. You can pair that with a wine tasting for the day as well. You can explore the old town here. You can have lunch down by the harbor, which is sort of the view we're looking at here. They are known to have some of the best seafood in France. Then we are off to the ever famous Florence, Italy. So much to see, so much to do. Obviously, home of the Accademia, the Uffizi Gallery. They have masterworks from everybody from Botticelli, Da Vinci, Michelangelo's statue of David. You could actually have a few beautiful day trips from here as well. So you can get out to Lucca for some wine tasting. You could get out to Cinque Terre, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a colorful beach town, dramatic sea cliffs. I've been there myself. It is absolutely gorgeous. But the city center of Florence itself will keep you stimulated for many weeks. And then we are off to Rome once again. Chock-packed full of events, highlights, and fun things to do here. You could see the Vatican City, St. Petersburg Basilica, the Sistine Chapel. You can do all that in the morning if you'd like. And by the afternoon, you can take a look at the Colosseum, the Forum, and the Trevi Fountain. So much to see in a small geographical area. It's truly wonderful to check off everything on your bucket list. Then it heads south towards Naples, Italy. And Naples is an energetic city with a lot to offer. It's situated under the shadow of Mount Vesuvius. It has one of the most renowned opera houses in the world, Trito di San Carlo, has the Basilica di Santa Chiara, and most importantly, for me anyway, this is the birthplace of pizza. So if you like pizza, this is your spot here. You can also do a bit of a historical tour of Pompeii, which is a city that's sort of frozen in time through a volcanic eruption. Or if that's not your choice here and your cup of tea, you could take a little day trip out to the island of Capri, and you can sip on a little limoncello and just relax. But after Naples, we are off to Messina, Sicily. And Sicily, for those that don't know, of course, is part of Italy, but it could feel like a whole different country. It has influences from Arabic, Norman, Gothic, Greek, all sorts of different influences throughout this little region, this little island here. You could visit a 3rd century Greek and Roman theater, or you can travel 6,000 feet above sea level to Mount Etna and sort of explore that. Or you can travel to the base of that volcano for some beautiful wine tasting as well. But there are beautiful, beautiful food delicacies to try down in Sicily. cannoli, rice bowls, the list goes on and on and on. A different world than most folks are used to. On to the alluring Istanbul, Turkey. Here you can visit the Hagia Sophia or the Blue Mosque. You could wander the Grand Bazaar as well for spices, pottery, and jewelry. There's almost 4,000 plus shops there in the bazaar. It's truly an experience like no other. Again, from a food perspective, if you'd like to try a bit of the kebab culture, you know, some spiced lamb with grilled eggplant, and you can sip on a Turkish coffee while enjoying that as well. This is definitely the quintessential East meets West city. So much to see, so much to explore. Then you take off for Baskata, Turkey. Here you can explore the architecture of this town center here. What we're looking at here as you stroll down the street literally separates the Greek and the Turkish districts here. So you can actually see the sort of the best of both worlds. Like we said, East meets West kind of scenario. You can also head west and grab some beautiful photos at the Palente Lighthouse, or you could take a scenic drive to the esteemed Corvus Vineyards for some beautiful wine tasting here as well. And then it finishes off in this little place called Athens, Greece. Make sure to take a few hours to visit the Acropolis. Again, we're going to recommend that you stay a few more days and really explore the history here. You can do things like, oh geez, take a day trip to Delphi. You can see the Temple of Apollo. You could go to an organic olive oil farm. Had do a little olive oil tasting as well. But there's so much to see in Athens. We definitely recommend an extended stay here. And just to give you a little heads up here on these extended stays that I've been talking about, these GoNext pre-cruise and post-cruise trips. This is something that we could set you up with when you call in to make your reservation, or you can do it right online as well. Just a way to extend the trip a few more days in the beginning or at the end of these beautiful cruises. And then we'll dig in a little closer look at Oceania Cruising, which will be our supplier for Japan, as well as this Courtyards for Colonnades we just looked at. They are known for having some of the finest cuisine at sea. This was a cruise line that was designed by foodies for sure. Each one will have an Aquamar Spa and Vitality Center. That's gonna involve massage, facial, hairstyling, manicure, pedicure, you name it. Country club casual ambiance, just to alleviate everybody's fears. No ball gowns and no tuxedos are necessary here. A pair of slacks and a 3-button golf shirt, and you're good to go for your entirety of your whole trip. Okay. Again, this is going to be open seating restaurants. They're going to have multiple, at least 4 specialty restaurants on these ships. We can talk a little bit more about that in a second. These are more luxurious ships, like I mentioned, about 1,200 plus passengers or so. The gourmet cuisine was actually curated by Master Chef Jacques Papin, who used to work with Julia Childs a lot. So this is a way to really enjoy cruising at an opulent level here. And for folks that are interested in food, as I am, I wanted to show you a little snippet here, some pictures of what to expect. This is the level of cuisine that we are talking about. We are going to have steakhouses, Italian cuisine, French, Asian fusion. The grand dining room says continental. They take influences from each and every port that they visit. At times, they even pick up supplies there at the port, bring it back home and cook it up for you. So if you are going to Greece or if you're going to Turkey, you're going to try some of those delicacies. You have 4 specialty restaurants, 2 private dining possibilities here, 9 unique dining experiences overall. And that wraps up 24. And if you'd like, what we can do is we can take a quick sneak peek at 25 to see what Haven has prepared for us all. We could at first give you a little hint here to see if you could guess what the first trip for 25 is going to be. All right, let's see who guessed it. First trip is going to be the Panama Potpourri, and that's going to be in the springtime of 2025, March 23rd through April 2nd. This is going to be a 10-nighter aboard the Serena. And the Serena is an even more intimate ship, about 600 plus passengers or so. Here you're going to visit spots like Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, Costa Rica, and of course, Panama. You'll be able to see some ancient Mayan ruins, tropical beaches, bird sanctuaries, animal preserves, botanical gardens. It's basically ecotourism at its best. It's a great way to get yourselves out of that winter, spring weather and sort of jumpstart your summer as well. But of course, the finisher is fantastic. You finish with a daytime transit through one of the greatest engineering feats in the world, the Panama Canal. And it's nice to see it on TV. It's nice to see it from land, but there's nothing like traveling through it by ship. Now for our second trip, here is your second hint. Okay, that one was quite obvious in retrospect. We are going to be traveling from Turkey to Greece on the Hellenic Inspiration Cruise. So this is a fall trip, September 26th through October 3rd. For those chasing the endless summer, we don't want the summer to end quite yet. This is the perfect trip for you. So this is going to be a 7-nighter. This will be aboard the Vista, which is Oceania's newest ship. I'm going to show you something very special on that in just a second. Starting price about $39.99 on this one. And again, you're going to start at Istanbul. You're really going to dive deep into the Hellenic culture here. We're going to see things like, the Library of Celsus, the Odeon Theater. You're going to get to see medieval towns in Rhodes and Herculean. You can explore the Minoan way of life as well. And you could visit, of course, the famous blue domes of Santorini. You name it, of course, it finishes in Athens once again. So it gives you that another opportunity to really jump on this trip if you haven't had the chance in 2024. But again, this trip happens to be on the newest ship in their fleet called the Vista. They call it the future of cruising. They have redesigned the spaces of the ship, new food options, new opulent decor. And as beautiful and wonderful as all the other ships are, this is something different, something special. So just a really quick clip on this new experience. Okay, well, I'm excited. I'm ready to travel. I'm available. I do fit in suitcases in case anybody likes to take a third person with them. Anyway, shifting gears here. Last slide, I just wanted to talk to everybody about protecting their travel, of course. We highly recommend travel insurance either through USC or through GoNext. USC is currently working on getting an insurance partner in place as your first option for insurance. But travel insurance is so key for so many different issues, lost luggage, misconnections, trip interruption, trip cancellations, medical expenses, you name it, everything we can't possibly imagine or think about right now. It covers your mind and it puts your mind at ease, which is really nice. And you can find more information through USC, through Haven, of course, or through GoNext website for these needs. And in finality here, guys, I just wanted to say thank you very much. You know, like I mentioned, it's been a real honor allowing me to present these trips to you and to work with you. Haven, thank you once again for putting this all together. And we hope to see you travel with GoNext very, very soon. And if anybody has any questions, let's open up the forum.
Yeah, so just a little reminder, if you guys were a little bit late to log in, we do want to hear all of your questions. So if you aren't super familiar with Zoom, there should be a toolbar across the bottom of your screen with a chat and a Q&A section. So feel free to type any questions you have in there about our 2024 selection, upcoming 2025, anything you saw about the ships. Let's see, where's the best place to see costs for each trip? Great question. I will put the link to our travel website in this chat so you guys can pull it up from there, but it's uofscalumni.org/travel. That'll have the list of all of our trips, and so any GoNext trip on there, like we talked about today, you'll be able to click the link that takes you to their page, full itinerary on there, everything that's included, and the cost for that trip. So I will stick this link in the chat. And I will be emailing you guys as well. Afterwards, I'll include this link in there, and I'll include the recording of today's session so you can go back and reference anything if you saw a trip that looks really interesting to you. I know that visit that has some of the Greek Isles in there looks very enticing to me.
Absolutely.
And while you guys maybe are typing some questions, if you have other ones, I do want to include our drawing for the vouchers for today. So GoNext has so kindly donated 4 vouchers of $250 off of your travel. So I have put everyone's names on a piece of paper that's in attendance of this live session. So I'm going to go ahead and do some drawings, but please continue to type in some questions if you've got those. So we've got 4 winners today. So mixing them all up in here. All right. Our first winner is Edward. You'll be getting an email with your voucher, $250, with the email you guys registered with today. All right. Number 2. Cameron, congratulations. All right. Number 3. Carol, congrats on your voucher. And last one here, number 4 is Sylvia. So congratulations to all of you guys. That will get you $250 off of your booking of a USC GoNext trip. Any of those ones you saw today for 2024. 2025 will be on our website very soon here as well for booking. So excited to share that with you all and hopefully see you on some trips soon. Looks like we've answered all the questions. Andrew and I will stay on here for another few minutes if you guys have more questions you'd like to type in. But other than that, you all are free to go about your day. Thank you again so much for joining. We will have 2 more of these with 2 of our other travel partners. One this Thursday at noon and then one next Monday at noon. So I will send that information over as well if you're interested in seeing some of those trips. But thank you all for joining. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.